Tropical Storm Elsa is strengthening over land in North Carolina. I'm Mike Naso with the latest tropical update. You could see the satellite imagery there of the United States. We have two features we're watching. The first is obviously Tropical Storm Elsa, sitting right here, still a tropical storm, intensifying as it begins to accelerate to the northeast. There are tropical storm force winds occurring in North Carolina and heavy rainfall into Virginia. We'll talk about that. We also have this very well-organized low-pressure center. I'm very impressed with it, but it's inland over Texas. So we have two low pressures, one's a tropical storm, both over land, but look at that fetch of moisture there along the northwest Gulf Coast. There's 0% chance of development from the hurricane center, but if this somehow moved over water, we would probably see it develop pretty quickly into a tropical storm. Here's the latest on Elsa as of 5 p.m. from the hurricane center. It was at 36.3 north, 78.3 west. Winds of 50, so it's gone up in intensity, moving northeast at 21. Elsa just likes to move fast, doesn't she? She's been moving fast for the last 7 days. The slowest she got, I think, was, 14 miles an hour, something like that? You can see the forecast track here through time brings the center over Virginia, and then south of the Chesapeake, and then near Atlantic City, and Cape Cod. You guys are next in the line of attack, and we do have those tropical storm warnings in effect from Little River Inlet, South Carolina, all the way up to Sandy Hook, New Jersey. That includes Pamlico Sound, Albemarle Sound, Chesapeake Bay, south of North Beach, and the tidal Potomac, south of Cobb Island, Delaware Bay, south of Slaughter Beach, Long Island, from East Rockaway Inlet to the eastern tip along the south shore, and from Port Jefferson Harbor eastward on the north shore. We also have a tropical storm warning from New Haven, Connecticut to the Merrimack River, Massachusetts, including, as mentioned, Cape Cod, Block Island, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. So this system that a few days ago was a hurricane in Barbados is now going to be affecting Martha's Vineyard. It is insane how far these systems move. You can see the track there is kind of narrow. We're not expecting much deviation from it, and it should be finally out of here by Sunday, and we won't have to deal with Elsa anymore. You can see the wind history here, obviously when it was a hurricane there in the Caribbean, and slightly a hurricane off the west coast of Florida. But mostly the tropical storm winds from the Dominican Republic and Cuba, Jamaica, the Caymans, the Keys, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, to say nothing of the hurricane winds over the windwards. This system has been pretty prolific for July. It's definitely kept us hurricane trackers busy for the month of July. Check out this beautiful visible satellite imagery. Isn't it interesting that Elsa looks better right now almost as a moderate tropical storm over land than it did when it was a hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico? It's been a weird system. You can see the center moving very quickly there towards the northeast into Virginia, and very good outflow here on the right-hand side as the clouds blow off, and you can see here it's getting caught up, moving very quickly to the northeast, and we won't have to deal with it. But those winds are definitely impacting areas of North Carolina. Wrightsville Beach recently had a sustained wind of 47 and a gust to 54. So this is why it's a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm, because we're having actual wind reports down here where that flow is onshore. So again, it's going to be a rough night in the Carolinas. I think rougher than they were prepared for with this system coming from Florida. Here's the radar out of Richmond. You can see Richmond, you guys are getting into the heavy stuff. Petersburg as well. Raleigh, you guys are starting to look a little bit better as the system pulls to the northeast. But again, those winds are far out of this radar range. There's Albemarle Sound. There's Chesapeake, Suffolk, Virginia Beach. You guys are getting the wet weather right now. But definitely the heaviest appears to be in the Richmond area. This is all headed northeast. So again, like I said, if you're in New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, Massachusetts, you guys are next up for the wet weather. To say nothing of the tornado threat, we do have a tornado watch all night long, and that extends from like New Bern up towards Washington almost. This whole little area in here, anywhere where there's going to be precipitation with the tropical storm, you run an increased risk of tornado formation and tornadic development. So again, we're going to watch that carefully. But again, most of the heaviest rain right now, Danville, Lynchburg, over to Norfolk, right there in Virginia is where you're starting to get into the heaviest precipitation on radar. It should be 2 to 4 inches, some spots 6 to maybe 10 inches even if it moves a little slower. Right now it looks like it's moving fast enough we're not going to have the 15, 20 inches we'd have with a stalled out system. Nevertheless, 2, 4, 6 inches of rain anywhere from Raleigh-Durham all the way up to Portland. So you guys are going to be drenched over the next couple of days, probably throughout the weekend. And of course, that does run the risk of increased flood threats. You can see there areas here of New Jersey and New York, all the way up to Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. You guys will have the flood threat. Should start to clear out by Sunday. You guys should be a little bit better off there. The key messages for Elsa, number 1, as Elsa moves from North Carolina to Virginia today and tonight, heavy rainfall could cause limited flash and urban flooding. Heavy rainfall from the mid-Atlantic to New England through Friday could cause considerable flash and urban flooding. So as I mentioned, the rainfall is going to be the main threat. Even though it's moving fast, it's still a tropical storm bringing a lot of moisture. Number 2, tropical storm conditions should continue along the North Carolina coast this afternoon and over the mid-Atlantic later today or tonight. Tropical storm conditions are expected in portions of southern New England and New York by Friday. Gusty winds are expected over the areas of Atlantic Canada Friday night and Saturday. So everything I mentioned, that's basically the bottom line. Gusty winds and heavy rain. There's a look at the radar of the United States. And again, I'm very interested in this system down here in Texas because you could have just drenching rains here in areas of Louisiana. If you're in Lafayette, if you're in New Iberia, Intercoastal City, Cameron, those areas impacted by Hurricane Laura last August, you guys are getting drenched right now. And again, when you add in that heat, it's just that hot, muggy, humid, tropical air. But for July, this could all be a harbinger of things to come by August, September with the hurricane season. There obviously is Elsa, looking pretty tight for a tropical storm that's been over land for a long time, at least 12 to 18 hours, and a lot of moisture with it there over Virginia, moving on up towards Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, and New York. So that's it for the tropical update right now. Tropical Storm Elsa still causing problems there over North Carolina and Virginia. It should jettison on off and finally be out of here by the end of the weekend. A system over Texas, which is sprawling, that might take longer to get out, pumping moisture into the Texas-Louisiana Gulf Coast. We will keep an eye on the tropics and keep you updated. I'm Mike Naso. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll talk to you guys next time.